Good afternoon, everybody. If anybody doesn't know, I'm Helen. I'm one of the leaders at Hope Church. And Tom's asked me today to just share some thoughts on our next beatitude in our Friday kind of series that we're doing, looking at the kind of Sermon of the Mount and the beatitudes within that. And Tom and then Gary last week shared with us some thoughts on the first few beatitudes. And there's a beautiful order to the Beatitudes. We've looked at the first three Beatitudes, which deal with kind of our need. So the first one, blessed are the poor in spirit, those who recognise that they just don't have what it takes before God, that they don't have what it takes to live as God commands. And secondly, blessed are those who mourn, those who recognise their helpless position before God, and they recognise the extent of their sin. And then thirdly, blessed are the meek, those who recognise that we don't have what it takes to direct our own lives wisely, but instead we need to submit our lives into the hands of God, who is wise. And these first three beatitudes are often compared to the roots of a plant, if you like. It's the basis of our understanding of who we are and who God is. Of our smallness and his greatness, of our lacking and his abundance. And it's from these roots that springs the shoots of beatitude number 4. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Out of our understanding and recognition of our need for God grows a longing and a desire in us to grow in righteousness. As we submit to him, he works in our hearts and produces a desire in us to be like him, to pursue holiness, to pursue righteousness out of love for God. And then what comes out of those shoots of pursuit of holiness and righteousness is fruits. And the next three beatitudes shows us the fruits that can be produced by cultivating a heart that pursues righteousness and holiness in our lives. The fruits of mercy, purity, and peace. And we're just going to take a little look at the first one of these briefly today. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. And in Luke's Gospel, we read the story of the Good Samaritan. So a Jewish man's walking along a road to Jericho when he's attacked by robbers and he's beaten and he's left for dead. And two religious leaders, a priest and a Levite, they walk past him. And when they see him, they just keep on walking past. They just keep the distance from him and they just ignore him. And then along comes a Samaritan man, and the Samaritans and the Jews, they didn't associate with each other at all. Jewish people stayed well away from Samaritans. Yet this man, the one that you least expected, he reached out to the Jewish man lying on the road. He bandaged up this man's wounds. He put him on his donkey. He took him to an inn, telling the owner of the inn that he would pay all the costs involved in his care and his lodgings. And we don't see the ending of this story. We don't hear about whether the man finds the Samaritan to thank him or to pay him back or anything like that. Because this is a story that's about mercy. It's about a willingness to care and help people without expecting anything back in return. What do we learn about mercy in this parable? Firstly, Jesus says in this story, when the Samaritan man, saw him, the beaten up Jewish man lying on the road, he had compassion. The first part of mercy involves a soft and a tender heart. A heart that is compassionate to those around them. To those around us, those who are in need of compassion. And then secondly, there's an action. He went to him, he bound up his wounds, pouring on oil and wine, it says. His compassion leads to an action. It leads him to sacrificial service. And mercy involves both a heart that is soft and tender towards others, so that we are driven to compassion. And from this comes action and service. And for us to be able to offer true mercy, true Jesus mercy, we need to first be able to just absorb the mercy of Jesus ourselves. That's why it says, "Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy." We need to know God's mercy so that we can offer that mercy to others. I was scrolling through social media the other day, and what struck me was the amount of emotion on there. And also, I guess the emotion it stirred in me just reading some of the feeds on there. But interestingly, very little of the emotion that we see displayed on social media is that of understanding or compassion or grace. We live in a time and a culture of outrage, not of mercy. Yet, the more I study the Bible, the more I try to learn from it, the more I see its simplicity in many ways. What does it say in Micah? What does the Lord require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. This means a community of people who have a tender heart that cares and acts for the good of others, not expecting anything in return. That's what Jesus does for us. He offers us the gift of mercy and forgiveness freely, without condition. He has a heart that is tender and soft towards you, towards me. No matter how we've messed up, no matter how beaten and bruised we might feel today, just like that Jewish man beaten up on the road to Jericho in our story. God's there. He's ready. He's poised to do us good. He's ready to offer us mercy afresh each day. We don't have to fear him, because his mercy isn't just, for a moment in time when we become a Christian. His mercy is there for us for a lifetime. Lamentation says, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. And can I just encourage you, come to God afresh today. Receive his mercy again today. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive his mercy. As we know the mercy of God, let us pray that will stir our hearts to compassion for others and move our hands and our feet towards action and towards service to others, that we will be people of mercy. Have a fantastic weekend, everybody. God bless.